This video is done by the request of Ninja Scout. As I've stated in the past, I am not a big fan of 1911s. This one belonged to my father, and in a few previous videos I mentioned that he was very ill. Well, on May the 10th, he finally passed. This is part of the reason why I have not been making videos. I've been having to live my life and his since last fall. He had stage 4 cancer, and he beat the cancer, but the cure for the cancer and dementia finally did him in. Anyway, this was his 1911, and the history behind it is me and my father used to shoot IDPA together. He bought a Norinco 1911. I'll put this down for now. He bought a 1911 Norinco, and I had heard that they were really good guns. People have always said they were really good guns. There was a guy that worked at the range, and they had a gun store attached. I'm not going to say the name of the place, and they're out of business anyway. He told him that these were brand new Norinco 1911s. This was around 2004. This thing was a jam-o-matic. This gun got you really good with your 1911 stoppage drills. Anyway, in frustration, he bought a Taurus PT-99 and shot a DPA with that for a while. I got the old Norinco and took it apart, trying to figure out what's wrong with it. And I noticed that the barrel was not the factory barrel. In other words, the guy that runs this gun shop, his buddy was probably some shade tree smith or whatever, and he screwed up a batch of 1911s. And his buddy sold them as new. That's what I am alleging. Anyway, he was at a different gun store and someone recommended this. This is before you had Rock Island Armory. This is an Armscorp 45 Tactical. I think that is the brand name of it. It was a great value gun, even though this is made in the same Filipino shops that Charles Daly was made in, and I had a Charles Daly, and that thing was absolute crap. It's one of the guns that got me hating 1911s. And at IDPA shoots, the gun that I saw fail the most was the 1911. Or you would see these guys spend $500 on a 1911 and brag about how it's with their Smith getting $300 worth of factory upgrades. And I'm like, why didn't you buy a Sig Sauer P220? Like, why would I do that? It's about the same amount of money after you're done with that 1911, and it's ready to fight out of the box. Even if you've got to have big gun, low magazine capacity, the Sig 220 was a superior weapon. Anyway, so he bought this, and it came factory. It didn't look like this factory. It had ambidextrous safeties. It had dovetails cut in the slide. But what we didn't know, it was proprietary to Armscorp. We'll get into that in a minute. It had this beaver tail with the memory bump on it, skeletonized hammer, and some trigger. But these were all silver in color. Well, as my dad, when we quit shooting IDPA, this was my dad's pistol, and it just kind of sat around and languished, and then when he got older and got sicker, he didn't maintain his stuff, and I'm sorry. I'm not bad-mouthing my dad, I'm just stating facts. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is a depressing subject, but him and his girlfriend or wife were heavy smokers. And there's something in cigarette smoke that is corrosive. Has to be. because all of his guns that I recovered had rust on them to one degree or another, and some more rusted than others. This one had a few specks of rust on it, and I noticed that the slide was kind of difficult to pull back and the gun felt sticky in my hand. So I got some rifle bore cleaner, saturated a paper towel with it, and wiped the gun down, and it came back brown. That was the tar and nicotine that he had been exhaling all these years. Yes, gross, I know. And I found rust on the slide. Well, when I knew he was going to pass, I collected all of his firearms. And what we have here is this Armscorp 1911 45. It was blue originally and had some wooden grips on it. Well, so what I did is I took it to my local guy here and I had it Cerakoted. This is supposed to be cobalt, but it looks more brown than blue in my opinion. But it still looks good. The ambidextrous safety was broke, so I had a Wilson ambidextrous safety put on. I don't know why I did, but it has an ambi safety. These are the Cool Hand G10 grips. He did the whole gun in the cobalt, as he calls it, and all the other small parts done in black, so it kind of pops. Yeah, this is my unmade bed. Get over it. I think it turned out really good. Getting to the sights I was talking about, those are Meprolite sights for a Rock Island tactical. I figured they were the same gun, and they are close. Now, this is before Rock Island became Rock Island. They were the Armscorp brand, so this is like a pre-Rock Island Rock Island. The Smith said they technically were the correct sights, but he said he had to do lots of fitting to get them to go on. But you see, the factory sights on the Armscorp, the factory Armscorp sights were made out of some real crap metal. Real awful metal. I guess the people at Armscorp hope that you're a FUD when you buy their products. And they're like, well, this guy's only going to run 2 or 3 boxes of ammo through it per year. Well, this thing, it got run, back when we were shooting matches, 800 to 1,000 rounds a month. And what happened was the sights were so soft, the thousands and thousands of firings the slide ate the sights alive. And it was to the point where they would just fall off the weapon no matter what you did. And he ended up gluing them on. Well, so we got the Meprolite sights. I got the Meprolite sights. And the Smith had to fit them to the gun. So they're not going anywhere, and they're made out of good metal. For those of you that are into 1911s, hope you enjoyed it. I don't hate them per se, but they're not my first choice. But this was my dad's gun, and, sentimental, I guess. I wouldn't call it a restoration, but I fixed what was wrong with it, and I'll shoot it occasionally and might carry it occasionally, but it's not my first choice. But my experience with this gun, shooting it with my dad and all, it's been 100% reliable. I've owned some 1911s that worked good. I had a Colt 1991 A1. It worked flawlessly, other than it would rust overnight. Had a Remington R1 that worked fine. I just don't know why Remington saw fit to clone a Series 80 handgun. I had a Charles Daly that was absolute garbage. That Norinco was garbage. Anyway, have a nice night.